Chapter 45.
You are now listening to the Chapter of the Architect with DJ Architect.
What's going on? Once again, my people, my family, my loved ones, my friends, followers, and listeners of the podcast, want to welcome you guys once again. Listen, this is Chapter 45. Wow, we are moving right along, man. Today on the podcast, on the phone, I've got a real special treat for you guys. This guy, I hold this individual in high regard. I know I say that a lot to some of the people that come and I interview here on the podcast, but it's something different when it's an individual that you've served with in the military and in the combat environment. This person's a real good friend of mine. We've kept in contact throughout the years. I met him way back in my time in Okinawa, Japan. On the phone with us, I have Marine Corps Sergeant, prior Marine, Joseph Farrell. Joe, how you doing, my brother?
Good, brother. Good to hear you.
So how you been, man? Listen, I know you and I, we speak once in a blue. We don't keep in contact as often as I wish we could, but I understand you have a family, a job. Obviously I have to go out and earn the bacon and take care of business on my end. So we don't speak or keep in contact as much as I would like. But how you been, man? How's everything? How's the family going?
Yeah, we're doing all right. You know, life happens, no matter if you're ready for it or not. So just roll with it.
Listen,
we're doing
man,
okay here.
Good. I'm glad to hear. Did by any chance you didn't catch the fight last night? Did you?
No, I didn't.
So let me talk about that real quick, man. For some of the listeners, I know somebody's gonna be like, "Well, come on, let's talk about that for a second." So last night we had McGregor fighting Khabib. I can't, and I'm not gonna. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm not gonna attempt. But obviously, Khabib ended up tapping McGregor out. After the fight, a brawl ensued outside and inside of the ring, initiated and started by Khabib. When I seen Khabib jumped out of the octagon and went and struck McGregor's coach, I was like, what the hell is going on? I instantly knew that it had to be a much bigger problem and beef going on between both of the camps. And then later on, McGregor's still in the octagon, and Khabib's cohort's trainer, I don't know who it was in particular, jumped over the fence and punched McGregor in the face. Got a stowed on him is what they say, right? And I was like, what the hell was going on? And Joe Rogan, being one of the commentators for UFC that night, was highly upset. It was truly unprofessional. I that's something that, hooligans behave in that way. And, they were saying that, you got to remember, they were Russian fans. They were fans from Ireland. Both different people coming to the event were probably drinking alcoholic beverages. And, some of that violence probably sprawled out to the streets later on that evening, man. It was an ugly event, a good fight. Khabib got a real good win, but what ensued afterwards was unnecessary and really unprofessional for the sport, in my opinion, man. It just went bananas, man. I sat there with my mouth open, man. But
he won, and then he went after the coach.
Yeah, it was. I guess. Well, I was doing a little bit of research after the fact, and apparently Khabib and McGregor, they had a mutual respect going on for each other for a long time, and then McGregor moved up to Khabib's weight or to his weight. I don't know if it was up or down, and then. A lot of things were being said that Khabib was ducking McGregor, that he was a chicken, that he couldn't perform or complete his obligations to a fight. And, words were said on Twitter, and one thing led to another, and an animosity started to happen. Apparently in the Barclays Center several years back, McGregor's camp smashed up one of the buses that Khabib was in, and some people in Khabib's camp ended up getting hurt from it. So yeah, I mean the beef was long and deep, and it actually exploded last night. And like I said, it was a great fight, but you don't want to see that, especially if you have kids around, and look, this is a sport. You fight,
Yeah.
win or lose. At the end of the day, you look at each other and you shake your hand, and out of mutual respect, and then you walk away. But I guess the beef was much more deeper than that.
Yeah, apparently he wasn't done.
Yeah, I don't think so. But nonetheless, Joe, let's talk about you, my brother, Sergeant Joseph Farrell. What made you join the Marine Corps, man?
Oh, I tell you, serving my country, that was the most important thing to me. I had no intention of going to college, My old man was in too back during the Vietnam era, so he told me all his stories. It's like, man, that's what I want to do. He goes, no, you're just young and dumb. You don't know what you're getting into. Yeah, well.
I remember that photograph you had with your dad. Still to this day, it was a photograph. He was a tunnel rat, right, in Vietnam, right?
Yeah, he didn't really talk a whole lot about what he did over there.
Right, as none of us really do. But I remember the photograph that that you had of him was him coming out of a tunnel in Vietnam. He wasn't wearing a shirt. I don't know why I remember that photograph for whatever reason. But
I think he had his sidearm on him.
Right. That's wild. The small things that the human mind retains, and other things you just don't. That's why I think I love talking and interviewing, especially people that I have a friendship or a relationship or a past with, because we'll be talking and I'll remember a specific occasion or experience and they won't. And then they'll spark up a memory that I hadn't thought about in, how many years, I don't know. But that's why I love talking to people that I've known for so long, man, because, memory, you only have so much space to your memory's RAM is what it is, man. You only have so much space to capture memories, people's names, occasions, experiences, and some of them you just lose throughout the course of time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And plus, there's no better therapy. Over the years I realized this, but then talking to somebody who's actually there with you, you can't beat that.
Yeah, brother. So to you, it was imperative to join the service. Was it, did you feel that it was a calling of service that you felt you needed to join the military? Was it a combination of, because your dad did it, you felt you had to do it as well? At first it's like, it just felt like that's what I had to do, carry on the legacy, so to speak. But afterwards, I realized I didn't just do it for him. It was a lot bigger than just that. Once you get in there, you realize, well, I'm doing this for everybody else here too. Right. I remember I was about 16 when I first called the recruiter. Sounding like Mickey Mouse over the phone. He's like, "Well, what's your age?" "Yeah, I'm 16. I got a couple more years of school." He just started laughing at me. He said, "Boy, you call me back in a couple of years." "Oh, okay." Right. Your number wasn't going to help his quota that month. Yeah, no kidding. So, at what age did you join the Marine Corps, brother? I got him at the late entry at 17. And then as soon as I graduated high school, I was gone. So you had your parents sign the waiver for you, right? Yeah, they had to sign. The old man, he didn't have a problem. He was good. Take them. Wow. Yeah. Wow. You know how boys are, and teenage boys getting into trouble. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, believe me, I come from New York, so yeah, the streets of New York were not doing me any favors, and vice versa. You boys are rowdy over there. Yeah, well, everywhere, I think, man. I don't think there's any place in the United States that has doesn't have a rowdy crowd. But so your dad didn't have any issues with it. What about your mom? Did your mom have a problem with you joining at such a young age? Yeah, it took a couple visits from that recruiter. He coming over, talking to her. Obviously,
So
he smooth talked her into it eventually, right?
yeah, the bottom line is, me and the old man told her I'm going one way or another, whether I go now or later.
Either with your blessing or with you with vinegar in your veins, I'm leaving.
That's it.
Tell us about that experience, man, when you step on those yellow footprints.
It was just happening so kind of fast. It's something that we're never going to forget. But I remember just being late and tired, and I'm sure everybody that's been in that position, what do I got to do? Just follow the crowd, kind of keep your head down. Right. And then by the time you realize where you're at, it was too late anyway,
You went to boot camp in Parris Island, correct?
Yeah, Parris Island.
That's right. Why the Marine Corps in particular? Was it because your dad was in the Marine Corps?
Yeah, pretty much. More of a respect being in the Marine Corps. Didn't want to go any lower, that's for sure. I think most of it was just to get his respect, saying, you did it, so can I.
Right. It's funny. I always say this when I speak to or I comment about the Marine Corps. There's no better branch of military service. I don't care what you tell me. It's just the truth. As a branch of service, skill wise, dedication, military courtesies and customs, discipline. It doesn't get any better than that.
No, hell no.
It does not. How'd you feel when you graduated from boot camp, man?
Well, I know parents came down there, and one word, or one phrase, born again. That's pretty much it. They wiped out my past life, and it was a new life from there on out.
Hey, man, do you remember any particular experiences from boot camp? Like, let's say, for example, you had a young man coming to you. He finds out you're a prior Marine, and he goes, hey, sir, what experiences can you tell me that you had in boot camp that can prepare me for that thrashing that I'm about to get?
Well, I don't like ruining surprises.
Yes.
So it's a trade secret, man. You can't give that stuff up.
The thing about it is that you speak to your recruiter, and he says, well, expect this, and be loud, and be first, and always volunteer, and utilize a boisterous posture. But he doesn't. He can spend 48 weeks telling you on what to expect, but when you step on those yellow footprints, it's a totally different monster, and nothing can prepare you for it. Nothing.
No.
How did you feel when you left Parris Island and you went to your first place to eat? How'd you feel?
Yeah, well, unstoppable, really.
You know what I felt, man? I felt anxious. I felt like the drill instructors were still behind my back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brother, so tell the story about how we met, man.
Yeah, so I don't think there can't be too many stories as we had. I mean, once we met, it's like we couldn't get rid of each other after that.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to Okinawa there, over at Truck Company,
right?
Meet my first corporal, Corporal Lopez.
Wow.
First meeting you, this motherfucker, he seems like a hard ass. It's like, okay, I can get with it. Coming in there talking all stern, you ain't breaking no smiles at me. Okay, he's trying to pull a card on me. I said, all right, we'll give it some time. And you were kind of a dick, dude.
Yes,
kind of a dick.
Yeah, I was.
I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
But I understood afterwards. It's like Truck Company was a real tight unit. It's real tight there. And all the units I've been in the Marine Corps, there was not one that compared to Truck Company. We were close, man. We were real close. And I wish there was more people that kind of carried on that tradition within their units.
Right.
Like you did. And the guys that came before you when you got there. Yeah, I remember we were doing field day, and you come in inspecting the barracks there, talking about fingerprints on my mirror, and I'm just standing there, parade rest. You know, I don't know any better yet. Like, I'm wondering if I can kick this motherfucker's ass real quick. But then, time went on. You started realizing I wasn't a real shitbag. We started hanging out a little bit more, broke the ice a little bit. I don't know what it was when the tables turned, when we were kind of, okay, he's cool now.
Right.
I can't remember when it happened, but all of a sudden, it's just like we started hanging out in town. We were going to the Ville. We were busting out trucks in a motor pool there together. That's it. It's just kind of happened. It's like, oh, all right, he ain't so bad now.
Joe, the funny thing about it is that character trait about me, I've never changed. So there'll be people that'll come to my job and I put them off. It's the same words that you just said. People say to me years later after we've been working together or we've met, and they say, hey, man, when I first met you, man, you were a real dick. And my response to them is, well, what makes you think that you deserved any of my attention? Like in the military, and that does sound very dickish. In the military, it's different. You follow orders. And let me tell you the moment that I found out. It wasn't a particular moment. It took a lot of time, man. But, I had to first like you. You know what I'm saying? It was one thing for me to follow rank structure and communicate, give you orders and disseminate information. And that's one thing. But if I didn't like you, I wouldn't fuck with you. And the moment I felt that you were good to go was you were never late for work. Your uniform, your camis, your boots were always squared away. You did your job let me tell you something, man. You did your job probably better than me and some of the other individuals within our unit. You picked it up quite quick, man. I don't know if you had an aptitude for mechanisms and the way mechanics work, but you picked it up extremely quick. And that resonated in me, man. And from that point, I was like, you know what? I like him. Which, lowered my guard of like, if I don't like you, I'm not going to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that while in the military, I was going to treat you and just put a target on your back and zero in on you and constantly fuck with you. No, that means that I wasn't going to spend my time off duty drinking beers with you. That's what it meant. That's all it meant. But I figured that out fairly quickly with you that, okay, this guy, he's squared away. He's not a dirtbag. He's not a shitbag. He's an individual that I can actually spend some time with and enjoy the company. So when I'm at work and we have brand new people come in, look, I'll be as cordial enough to say, good morning, how you doing? And I'll introduce myself. Aside from that, man, the very next day, morning, how you doing, right? There's no reason for me to sit there and divulge any information regarding any of my personal particulars to somebody I don't know. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some months. And then after that, okay, this guy's cool. Or I'll decide, guess what, man, he's not. Or he'll decide that I'm not. And I'm cool with it, man. I have no issues with people saying, hey, man, you're a fucking dick. And I'll look at them in the face and I said, you know what, that's the most truest thing you've said in the whole time I've known you. Hey,
thank you very much for noticing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's because, look, man, my circle is extremely tight. It's extremely small. But those people within that circle, man, I will fucking die for. I will die for. And that's the truth. There was a statement you said earlier where you said, man, when I first met you, you were a dick. But then you stated, but later on, I understood why. Could you explain that?
So, I don't know if you remember, but once we were getting on terms with each other, off-duty type stuff, you're coming in there, and you started prepping me for these boards, for these quarter boards, these meritorious promotion boards.
Can you explain what that is?
So in the Marine Corps, they got these quarterly boards that go on. It's nothing more than a glorified job interview. You had a couple, sometimes a couple officers on there, a couple staff NCOs. It's set up just like a job interview. You know, 3 or 4 people on one side of the table, and you're sitting in a lone chair on the other side of the room.
What's the purpose? What's the purpose for that?
The biggest one is rapid promotions, so you can jump a rank without going through all the old bullshit that you normally would have to.
So
now,
why do you have to be selected to be on those boards? Like, how are you selected to be on those boards?
Well, that's the thing. It's not just everybody gets a chance at it. You got to be top notch. You got to be top of the class. Comes your PFT. Your swim call, your rifle range, whether or not you're showing up all drunk and all looking like shit in the morning, that kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, you'd come in there and we just have a couple beers and you just I remember the first few questions you asked me, what the fuck is this guy talking about? You're asking me how many mils were in a compass. What the fuck are you talking about? And I think you had a few more in you at that point than I did. So,
yeah.
So, all right, I'll go along with this shit. And then we just started getting into a little bit more and more, and then it was going on for several weeks, and probably even longer, really, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is, you're just preparing. You're just preparing me, and I want to thank you because I don't know if you were still there when I actually went up on a board, but I did get promoted to corporal meritoriously on a board.
Congratulations. I was not there for that. Wow, awesome.
I have to give you the credit for that because you prepared me because you were on those boards before I ever stepped foot there, So you told me what to expect, and it's they're looking for if you break your bearing, it's the whole time they're asking you these questions, you need to know those answers like quick, fast, and in a hurry,
right?
Without losing your bearing. It's eyes straight, left hand, left knee, right hand, right knee,
right.
But yeah, I have to thank you for that because you pretty much prepared my mind for it anyway. And then I won the Marine of the Quarter board twice.
Nice.
After that,
nice.
Yeah.
Or NCO of the Quarter.
Yeah, well, I wasn't an NCO. I was a Lance Corporal still, so that came first, and then I got promoted.
And then you got promoted to Meritorious Corporal. Man, outstanding! I had no idea, man. Congratulations, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I can't take that full credit, man, because all I did for you was what was done for me, and that was I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say somebody had to carry it on,
Listen, man, I owe everything as far as me getting, first of all, being on boards and winning them, and then being meritoriously promoted to corporal as well. I owe that all to Sergeant Brady. I really do. He and I, and you know what? Before I run off into this tangent. Our brother Lance Corporal Brown, Tim Brown, sends me a text message yesterday, and he sends me some photographs of us when we were in Okinawa, man, and it brought up a lot of memories. And then I text him back. I was like, "Hey, this is awesome. This is great." I tell him, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be interviewing Joe Farrell from our unit tomorrow, and he's like, "Oh, that's great, man. Let me know when the podcast is up." So he's doing good, man. And Lance Corporal Brown was, when I first got to the unit, I came in with PFs. We were both private first classes, PFC Parchment, who ended up being my roommate.
Old dragon breath, huh?
Ended up being my roommate for a while. And then we met Lance Corporal Brown. And then at the time, it was soon to be meritoriously promoted Sergeant Brady. At the time, he was still a corporal, but he had just won the meritorious sergeant board. And he was getting, he was probably, I think maybe 1 or 2 weeks out of getting promoted to sergeant. So we meet them. Well, anyways, when I joined the military, the Marine Corps, I was 23 years old, man. I was long in the tooth. And they recognized this. So Brady, he pulls me to the side and, I guess gauging me, did the same thing that I did with you, asking me questions and trying to get in my head and figure out, if I was even worthy to spend the time off duty to fuck with me, you know what I mean? Right, to divulge any information or not, man, because really that's what you do when you meet. That's the way I was, man. There were some Marines that were cool and you loved them and you hung out with them. There were some that were not. You really didn't have a tight relationship, and there was others that you were really on the look for to be like, hey, man, I can fucking mentor this guy and this guy can go places. So he did me that favor. The favor that I did you, he did for me. Him and I shared in the military, we call it a head. It's the bathroom. Mm-hmm. He was on one side, I was on the other, and the bathroom was in the middle. And he would spoon feed me all this military knowledge, the 3 parts of a grenade, characteristics of an M16, reasons for close order drill, all this shit, man. And he would just spoon feed me, and we'd be drinking beers. And in order to prepare me for these boards, you know how there's an air vent at the bottom of the door that's, for the bathroom. It was one particular morning, man. He unscrewed it and he snuck in, and I'm sleeping, and he's at the foot of my bed, and he starts screaming, "What are the 3 parts of a grenade? What are the 5 organic weapons?" I'm like, oh shit, and I'm like spewing out answers, and I'm like, God damn it! And he's a fucking sergeant. Here I am, a fucking, PFC, man. And but the motherfucker prepared me to a point that it was so proficient. He would have me, like on a tape recorder, he would have me recite the question and then the answer 3 times in a row. Record it, and then, okay, after it's done in 3 segments, move on to the next question and answer. Say it again 3 times. And I would go to sleep with headphones listening to that fucking shit all night long. And it just was embedded in you, right? So I owe him a great deal of gratitude, man. And like I said, Tim Brown was able to get me in contact with him via email, and I shot him a long fucking email. I hadn't had any contact with him since Okinawa, and it was pretty long and long-winded, but I just had to show him my gratitude, man. He didn't have to do that for me, you know what I mean? The guy, he got me promoted to Lance Corporal, and then I got meritoriously promoted to Corporal. Bro, I was a fucking Lance Corporal for 4 months in the fucking Marine Corps. Do you know do you know the fucking hate that was coming my way from salty Lance Corporals? And then, but keep in mind, age-wise, I'm older than them. Some of these guys are, 21, 22. Some of these guys, they can't even fucking buy a beer, man. And they outranked me at the time, but I picked up rank so quick. And I remember this one guy, and a motherfucker didn't particularly care for me, man, because he was getting ready to, it was like his last year in the Marine Corps. He was about to get out, and he was going to get out as a terminal Lance Corporal. And I knew nothing against them. I mean, salty Lance Corporals are probably the backbone of the Marine Corps, because those are some knowledgeable son of a bitches. But he was just, for whatever reason, man, he was salty towards me. And one night he comes up to me and he goes, you know what, man, you're a boot corporal. He's like, he's drunk. I've been drinking. And he goes, you know what, man, you're a fucking boot corporal. So, for the people that don't know, a boot corporal, a boot or a shower shoe is like you're brand fucking new. Like, you've got no experience. You shower shoe, man. You're a fucking, you've got no fucking experience. You're brand new. You don't know shit. So he says to me, you're a boot corporal. And I said, you know what, man? I said, I'd rather be a boot corporal than a salty Lance Corporal. And, salty guys in the military is, experience. longevity. Motherfucker's been in that rank for a long time. He knows what the fuck he's doing. But regardless, a boot corporal, an inexperienced corporal, outranks a fucking experienced lance corporal any day of the week. And he was pissed. He didn't have a comeback for that, man. Nonetheless, shortly thereafter, him and I became friends. And I think it was a situation where, in the military, man, you can't let motherfuckers bully you around. And I think that's one of the reasons why I ended up really liking you, man, is because I saw myself in you where you didn't take any shit. And I like that. Look, man, let's, without going into, details, man, talk about some of the stories and adventures we had out in Kinville. We were stationed in Camp Hansen, 3rd Marine Division, Hoorah. And right across the street from our gates was a village. It's a little town called Kinville. As a matter of fact, our brother Miguel Ramos was the mayor.
Oh man!
But tell us about the adventures and the clubs out there, brother.
I tell you what, the Ville, Kintown, whatever you want to call it, best goddamn taco rice and cheese I've ever had. I miss me some good taco rice and cheese. Yeah. What is that? That yakisoba.
Oh, the yakisoba. Oh, the chicken teriyaki.
Yeah, man. Coming back from drinking all night. Just, hey, let's grab some chow real quick. Okay. Man, I think one of you guys took me when I first got there. There was coming right out the gate 2 there, and you go down a little bit. You take that first left down one of the alleys, and there was a little restaurant right on your right.
Yeah.
They had some good chicken teriyaki in there. This is the kind of place where they're smacking cockroaches off the wall with the spatula, Just dropping that plate out in front of me. It's like, oh okay, I'm going to eat this? Yeah, I'll eat it. Okay.
Oh, man. Sometimes I'll either be moving things and I stumble on some old photographs of us, from Okinawa, man. And it just brings a smile to my face, man. And I think about, some of the guys that we served with, man. Bowling, Cupcake.
Oh, man.
Who by chance I ended up running into later on. He left Okinawa before I did, and I ended up running into him in Camp Pendleton, and he was a sergeant, man, and I was still a corporal, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, yo, man, congratulations. And I was his corporal, so that, obviously he fucking picked up hella quick when he got to Pendleton, man. And I was like, hey, Sergeant, how you doing? He goes, hey, man, don't fucking call me Sergeant. I'm still looking at you like you're my corporal. But, you felt awkward. To me, Okinawa, 3rd Marine Division was such a strange monster. It was more of a real, to me, that was the real Marine Corps. I don't know if it resonates with you as well.
Yeah, I feel it.
There was no other, division or location where you can go to that was so disciplined. And, corporals and sergeants, they fucking ate glass and they farted fucking lightning, man. It was so disciplined. Hey, Marine, tuck in your shirt. Hey, you better get a fucking haircut. Did you shave this morning? Look at your fucking boots. You didn't spit shine them. It was the only place where you can go. You could be in the barracks, and you would walk into a room, and there'd be 4 Marines or 3 Marines spit shining their boots, drinking fucking beer, and you'd be like, hey, I'll be right back. Let me go get my boots and my spit shine kit. And 4 fuckers spit shining boots, drinking beer, talking shit.
It's bullshitting, yeah.
Man, I miss that shit, man. The camaraderie was fucking outstanding. Not everyone got along, but the small circle that you held. I mean, you would fight for each other till the death, and I remember the command, the leadership, man. You remember the guys, the leadership?
Yeah, Marty Stiles.
I loved Perry, man, Staff Sergeant Perry.
Yeah, Perry was cool.
I loved him to death, man. He was such a cool cat. And Warrant Officer McClendon, he looked out after me so well. And Corporal Ehaz, remember Ehaz?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
He was cool. Sergeant Bennett, he was another one.
So, sometime after you left, Styles was running the show in there now. McClendon was gone. We had a new warrant officer. He was all right, but McClendon, he was a cool cat. I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
And Perry, I don't think there could be another laid-back man in the Marine Corps in his position in the entire Marine Corps.
I loved him, man. I loved till this day. I love that he was so fucking laid back, man.
I heard him chew some guy's ass out once, right there in the shop, right outside the office door there.
Really?
And I had to do like a triple take, like whose voice was that?
You're chewing ass?
Like, damn. Oh, Jason Perry's got some balls on him now.
No shit. Hey, I believe he still lives in Okinawa, man.
Yeah, I guess he stayed there for a while. He was a lifer over there, man. He loved it. Yeah, so when you left, old Styles, he got promoted warrant officer. Okay. Now, he was rotating back.
No shit.
Yeah. He got promoted warrant officer. Now, he was already rotating back stateside, so his family was already gone. He was short time, like a week or two left at truck company there. So the night before his promotion, this motherfucker, he was living in the barracks across the parking lot from us, right?
Mm-hmm.
This motherfucker comes knocking on my door in the barracks. Hey, Farrell. I open the door. Standing there in this fucking ugly ass Hawaiian t-shirt. He's got this big ass shitty grin on his face. Hey, round the boys up. We're going out in town.
Wow.
Said, you okay, Staff Sergeant? Yeah, get them boys ready. Let's go out to Kittenville. Said, all right. So he comes in the room. He just kind of kicks his feet up. I wasn't ready. I got to put some civilian clothes on. You know.
Right. At this time, you and Ramos, you guys are both corporals at this time, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. So I'm going through all the mechanics. We stayed separate from all the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to get all the mechanics that were there at the time. Hey, Staff Sergeant wants us all, basically having a formation out in Kinville right now. So man, he got fucking shitty drunk.
Wow.
And I'm talking. We hit every spot out there, and he's just. Nice. It just really pulled back the barriers, seeing him like that. It's like, man, he's just like us. This motherfucker ain't no different.
Right. Yeah. He just couldn't because, it's fraternization, man. You can't do that. But he's looking at it like, hey, look, my family's not here. This is the night before I become a Mustang. I become an officer. And now I really can't do this. I'm still enlisted. So this is my only chance. This is my only opportunity to hang out with these guys and let loose.
Yeah, he let loose, all right.
Hey, man, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you guys were able to have that experience with him. You and I had a great opportunity. I have a good buddy of mine that said to me, hey, man, when they ask for volunteers, don't volunteer. And this was... this was at the time Lance Corporal Ramos. He goes, hey, man, don't volunteer. And he was, was from Yonkers, New York. I'm from New York. So I was like, all right, cool, man, all right. But this particular time, I said, fuck it. I'm going to volunteer, man. And then they asked, we were standing in formation. He goes, hey, we need 2 volunteers. You and I, we raised our hands. And then they asked us. I believe it was at the time either Corporal or Sergeant Hartnett. That was the other NCO. He asked us, do you guys have... Oh, and it was Corporal Berger. You remember?
Oh,
Corporal
yeah.
Berger?
Fucking Berger.
He says, do you guys have dress blues, the military uniform? And we're like, yeah. He goes, all right. You guys are going to South Korea in another 3-4 weeks for the 50th anniversary of the Incheon landing. We're like, oh, shit, we're going to South Korea. Fucking cool. So this one particular day, this Friday morning, we're having company physical training. We're playing soccer, man. We're like fucking ass grabbing and shit. and it looked like a storm was coming in. And all of a sudden, they said, everyone who's designated to go to South Korea, go to your barracks, pack up your bags. We're leaving within the next 2 hours. There's a storm coming, and we got to beat it before it hits Okinawa. We're going to South Korea. Get ready ASAP. So we're like, oh, shit. So we fucking run back, take a quick shower, grab all our fucking gear, our fucking dress blues, and we're on a fucking, was it a C-130 on the way to South Korea? And we get there, man. Bro, tell us briefly the experience we had in South Korea.
Man, that was a shot in the dark there for sure. That was awesome that we got that. So, I mean, I figured it's going to be typical Marine Corps when we get there. But they put us on an Army base, right, you know? And we're the only Marines these guys have ever seen. And they just look like a bunch of shitbags, to be honest with you. I mean, everybody's just fucking all droopy looking. Like, what the fuck? What are they feeding these boys over here? So I remember we first get off that plane, and this colonel comes out. All right, you know, here's the deal. You know, you guys represent yourselves, so you could stay over here. And he hands everybody these little business cards. I still got that fucking card to this day, man. You remember that thing?
Hell no. I don't even remember the colonel. I was like, where the balls? Like, get him.
He gave us this business card of all the off limits establishments out in the town there.
Oh, so he just told us where to go.
Yeah. Better, I flipped that fucking thing over, and there's a goddamn map on the back how to get to each one of them. I said, oh. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the clubs was called Club Manhattan. So of course, all you fuckers from New York were like, oh, we got to hit this one first. And there's like 2 or 3 of them before that we can go to. So it's like, all right, you know, maybe we should go in order. You know, let's hit all these first. Man, and we go. So it basically drop all our shit off, and they didn't have nothing else for us to do. So we're secured for Libel for like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like, okay, well, shit, who the hell's serving? Who's got some drinks right now? You know,
right.
Man, that was a good time here,
bro. We were getting Libo because we couldn't do. First of all, we were stationed on Youngsung Army Base in Itaewon, and we were on the Army base where they wouldn't allow formation runs. And Marines, that's all we fucking do: get information, right phase, forward march, double time, left. That's all we fucking do. Or we go to the gym, lift weights, or go play basketball, right? But the majority is all we do is fucking run. Nope, you can't have formation runs on base. This is the Army base. We don't do that nasty shit. Well, how the fuck you guys keep fit?
What you fat boys doing over here?
Yeah, no shit, man. So they were like, right, go to the gym, play basketball for 45 minutes, or go lift weights. And then we were secured at fucking 9 o'clock. There's a photograph of me, you, I have it somewhere. It's me, you, and Corporal Burgers. It's fucking 10 o'clock, Corporal Burger. It's 10 o'clock in the fucking morning, and we got a fucking 30-pack. And we're like cheering, and we're drinking beer at fucking 10 o'clock in the morning on some steps in an Army base in South Korea. And I was like, only in the Marine Corps. Only in the Marine Corps can we fucking do this, man. It was fucking great. Listen.
What's for lunch? Fuck it. What's for breakfast, man?
Hey, man. There was a club in South Korea. I don't remember the name of the club, but I know it had a significant connection to Popeye. There was a shirt. Oh. You remember that? There was a tank top shirt.
Yeah.
That they sold for like $10 or $15, and it said the name of the club, and then
Coyote Joe's,
something like that, and it said I was at blah 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 club, South Korea, and then it had a photograph of Popeye fucking olive oil with sweet pea, with a curious face on his with a curious gesture on his face, like what the fuck is going on? Hey, and then you have Popeye pounding away on olive oil. That fucking club was the shit, man.
His hairy ass on the back. Yeah, I got a picture of Parchment. He was going to town on one of these girls, man. fucking fireman. He goes, Farrell, as he's coming up for air, you know, hey, grab a picture of this. That's why you prove to everybody you're not gay.
Oh my God, man, that place. Oh, and then the soju, the rice,
Oh
liquor.
yeah.
That shit would go down real smooth, man. Real fucking smooth. Oh my goodness. I remember I had a tailor-made suit with my name, itched into the inner pocket. That place was so fucking cool, man.
Hey, you remember that mall? It was like it was a floor for every department. It was just a big ass mall. We went in, and we were all hot there.
Yeah. Oh man. Yes. Listen, I remember. Okay, I just remember this shit, man. We went there with remember Sergeant Brody? He used to have the mystery wagon, the mystery machine.
Oh yeah, Brophy, yeah.
Right. Hey man, so I love this guy, man. For whatever reason, the staff NCOs thought he was a shitbird because his fraternization was to the next level. But I loved him because he took care of us. You know what I mean? He had a Bon Jovi of like the Fahrenheit album. I think it was might have been the first or the second album, and he played that fucking tape up and down. Every time we would get on the Loser Cruiser while we were in South Korea, the Loser Cruiser guys is like a little mini van bus that would transport military members back and forth because, we don't have privately owned vehicles, so we would call it the Loser Cruiser, right? So he would get in there and he would always ask the driver of the minibus, hey, can you play this tape? And it was fucking Bon Jovi. And it was like, it wasn't, this must have been 1999, 2000, man. So like, Slippery When Wet was already out. Fucking Jersey was already out. No, this motherfucker goes back to like 1982 and starts busting. And he was a lot older than us. He was like maybe 7 years older than us, maybe more. And, he was playing fucking Bon Jovi. I think it might have been Bon Jovi's first fucking album, man. And I'm like, dude, this is like from 1981. What the fuck, man? And he was like, we had the greatest fucking time. So we're staying in these transition barracks. It's these barracks where the Army soldiers are utilizing it when they're in the middle of doing like a guard duty or, they got duty for 24 hours. They go there to these particular barrack rooms to sleep, right? But us being Marines, we're like, fuck, this is party time in South Korea, goddammit, and United States Marines have just landed, baby. So we're fucking coming back drunk as fuck. Loud. This is the night prior to the actual ceremony where we met ROK Marines, Republic of Korea Marines, our sister branch of service, bad motherfuckers. Oh, we got to talk about that too. Shit, before I forget. So Brody, he wasn't Sergeant Brody. He wasn't the most, his fucking time critical skills weren't that well, man. So he's drunk. We're all drunk. We come back. Everyone is fucking hitting the rack, and he's the only one like still getting his dress blues prepared for the next day. And he's like drunk and he's hiccuping and he's got a flashlight and he's talking shit. Yeah, I fucked her. I told you guys I would. Didn't I tell you? I told you. So there's a fucking master sergeant in the Army, like trying to get some sleep, and you could see he's getting aggravated because he's like, and he's like fucking tossing and turning in the rack. And, he probably, the motherfucker hasn't been slept for like 18 hours maybe, and then here we come a bunch of rowdy fucking Marines, rah, rah, rah. And then he gets pissed, man. He gets fucking pissed. And he gets up, he goes, hey, don't you know this is a quiet area only? What the hell? Like, because you were technically, you were supposed to, if like, you're supposed to be quiet because motherfuckers are getting off duty and they got to go back on duty within the next, I don't know how many hours. So they were asking us, before we took the linen and the fucking pillows, hey guys, this is a transition area for people who were coming on and off duty. So we would ask you to have respect and keep it quiet, keep, you know, the noise to a minimum. And we were like, yeah, watch this. And we were so and Brody's ranting about how he had her in this position and how he destroyed her fucking bladder and all types of shit. And so, you know, and then some of the guys, even though they're in the rack, they're still drunk, so they're chiming in like, yeah, give it to her, Sergeant, give it to her, you know. And so this fucking master sergeant gets pissed, man, and he fucking goes to Sergeant Brady. He goes, hey, Sergeant, you need to learn a fucking better way to utilize your goddamn time. What are you doing? You're getting your uniform ready right now. I'm trying to sleep. Here you are talking about fucking bitches. Hey, man.
Yeah, that's what we do.
He goes, there's people trying to sleep. God damn it, I got to go back on duty in whatever hours. Hey, man, I was on the, like, I could see the shadow because, like, some of the lights were very dim and there was, like, maybe one bar of light still on. So I could see, like, you know, I was, like, on the bottom rack of the far side, so I could see both of them facing off, man. All of a sudden, 4 Marines adjacent to Brody get up and they surround the master sergeant.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that shit? And
I remember that.
The master sergeant doesn't say a fucking word and goes back to sleep. He just goes back to his rack. I'm like, fuck, dog.
I remember that.
Dude,
there was some naked motherfucker in the back. He just had no clothes on for some fucking reason. That's standing out. It's got to be one of us. It's got to be one of our guys. You know it.
Hey, man, motherfucking Army Master Sergeant got punked, man. And that motherfucker says, just keep it down. I'm trying to sleep.
Keep it down a little bit. Yeah.
Fucking goes back to the rack and got pumped. Hey, listen, man, let that be a Marine Corps Master Sergeant and have 5 Army soldiers surround his ass. His ass is throwing, whether he gets fucked up or not. Oh, you motherfuckers gonna try to jump me, huh? I'm gonna bite your nose.
Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's see what you got.
Hey, man, that shit was so fucking hilarious. And then when we were in the Coliseum, in the sports arena in South Korea, we were all in green fatigues, and we were standing, or we were sitting in the seats, and we were watching the Republic of Korea Marines. They were in their fatigues. They had their rifles, and we were watching them practice. It was like their version of the Marine Corps silent drill team. And they were practicing their facing movements. And I remember, Farrell, what struck me odd was on one side of their boot, I don't know if it was the left or the right, but they had a little bell. You remember that?
Those fucking bells, yeah. Every time we walk, what the fuck is that noise?
They had little fucking bells, so every time they would make a face movement of right face, you would hear the bell go ding. But I think it was to do with like the significance of coordination, because you would hear the bell go ding. We're like, oh wow, man, what the fuck? And there was there's one specific incident where they were doing a line movement, and it was from left to right or right to left, and some guy ends up fucking dropping his rifle. And then all of a sudden you hear the motherfucker, whether it was their sergeant or whatever, get pissed and start screaming something in South Korean, and they all fucking march out of the Coliseum, out of the arena, and then they end up coming back like 20 minutes later all sweating.
Yeah, they were fucked up.
They got smoke checked.
Them boys got their asses handed to them.
they got smoked. You know that fucking sergeant was like, God damn it, don't you see we got United States Marines sitting there looking at us practice, and you want to drop your rifle? Push, motherfucker, push. You know, those motherfuckers got smoke checked, man. And they came back huffing and a puffing and a sweating, and then they ain't dropped no rifles no more after that one.
Hey, that would have been cool as fuck, as we could have got some of them boys out drinking with us. Man, we could have tore up that town.
The language barrier would have been some shit, man. But the cool thing that I liked about it is that we were able to, with the limited amount of communication, we were able to interchange uniform emblems like the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor that we have on our blues. Yeah. I remember I had maybe like extra pair of those emblems just in case And I took mine off, and he, we ended up trading them. He ended up giving me his. I know it's somewhere in my my Foot Locker full of my uniforms and paraphernalia, photographs, and all that shit. I'm sure it's somewhere in there, man. But that was a real cool exchange to meet the Republic of Korea Marines. And the funny thing is that Joe, I don't know if you ever realized, but when we went out to those bars, the bartenders, the majority of them, being female, they knew that we weren't soldiers due to our haircuts, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
So we, a lot of us would wear the high and tights, and they would say to us, "You're not soldier, you Marine," and we would say, "Yeah, how do you know?" And it was haircut, and they would ask us to, show them our Marine Corps military ID, and they would give us like fucking free drink. They would give us like 2 free drinks. Yeah. And it was cool because they would say, "Yeah, my father, ROK Marine #1," and we're like, "Oh man, that's fucking awesome!" Huge respect for Marines in South Korea, absolutely.
Listen, I wish I could get drunk with a few of them.
Yeah, man. Listen, I truly enjoyed that time. South Korea was beautiful, man. Fucking beautiful. So I end up leaving Okinawa, and I go to where I live now, sunny Southern California. And it might have been maybe 8-9 months later, man. Guess who shows up at my unit? Mr. Corporal Joe Farrell.
Yeah. I was checking in, when I was, talking to all the guys in the shop. And it's like, hey, you're coming from truck company, right? I said, yeah. You see, we got Lopez here. Like, what? Get the fuck out of here! And you were gone the first day or two or something. I was checking in, and all of a sudden I spied you. I spied you from across the shop. You're standing with that pissed off look that you always had. It's like, oh yeah, there he is, right? There's that brown motherfucker over there. It's all right. I'll go over there. And I'm walking up to you. I got a big ass smile on my face, and you turned and looked at me. You still had this, this mean ass look on your face. It's like, all right, and then all of a sudden you realize who it was. You're like, oh shit, look who's here.
It was, listen, man, to see you, I was like, oh shit, we're gonna have some fun now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was really good to see you, man. It was extremely, extremely good to see you. But I knew that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, you were going to be disappointed with the Marine Corps that was on the West Coast versus the Marine Corps that was out in the middle of the Pacific, man. Totally two different monsters. And I was warned by one of the staff NCOs, before I left. And I think it might have been Styles. I think it might have been Staff Sergeant Styles because, Styles knew that I was pretty prickish, like real, hard dog or hard nose. And he goes, Lopez, when you go to Pendleton, keep in mind it's a totally different monster. It's not 3rd Marine Division. It's not old school Marine Corps, and just be prepared for it. I really didn't know what he meant by that, but I learned fairly quickly the first weekend when I got here. I went into the mini mart, the PX, and there's a Marine and he doesn't have his shirt tucked in. So what do I do, right? Hey, Marine, tuck in your shirt. And he looks at me like I'm fucking crazy. My shirt's tucked in. So I look at my shirt and I say, my shirt tucked in, Marine? Yeah, well, tuck in your fucking shirt. And he tucks it in. I'm like, you damn right, bitch. Know who the fuck I am?
Snapping your fingers at me.
Bro, Joe, I go to the next fucking aisle, another Marine with no shirt on. I start looking around the fucking mini mart, the PX. Every fucking Marine has their fucking shirt off. I feel like such a dick. That statement, Pendleton is a totally different Marine Corps. Be prepared for it. It hit me at that moment what he meant. And I said, fuck it, man. I just said, what the fuck? It's a totally different world. The camaraderie wasn't there. I mean, people were tight.
No, it was nothing like Okinawa.
No, but nothing like Okinawa, man. But you see, what you got to keep in mind is that we had a small unit too, man. You know what I mean? When you came to a new unit, like in Pendleton, it wasn't like our platoon. How many people did we have? 15, 16 people in the platoon at the most, including admin. And when we get to Pendleton, there's, your fucking platoon, man. You're looking at 45 motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not even the whole company. That's just a fucking platoon. And you're like, holy shit, man, you really get lost in the sauce, man. But
Yep.
it was great seeing you when in Camp Pendleton. I was like, fuck, man, fucking Farrell's here. Holy shit. Let's fast forward a bit, brother. Let's talk about, obviously, you and I, we ended up becoming roommates for a short period of time. I picked up Sergeant. You ended up picking up Sergeant shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting orders to go to fucking Iraq, February 14th, 2003.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, it wasn't my choice. I don't know if it was your choice or for whatever reason you was like, hey man, let's take a look at this movie. But we end up the eve before we go to Iraq. You and I end up looking at in the barracks, the movie of Mel Gibson, When We Were Soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Why we chose to watch that movie that particular evening, I don't know. I think something light, funny, or comedy would have been fucking great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To take away the dark cloud of fucking imminent doom coming our fucking way. But I remember that fucking night, man. And I remember Burgers?
Yeah.
My assistant. Yeah, so my assistant Burgers comes to the fucking barracks. He's like, hey guys, I'm taking you guys out. We're going to go drinking. And I'm like, bitch, hell fucking no. The last thing we need is to be hung over on our way to fucking Kuwait. No fucking way. That's the last thing. No, come on. I'm going to buy you guys beer. I'm not going to see you get. Nah, motherfucker. We're staying here. We're going to stay nice and fucking sober, hydrated, and we're going to have our fucking minds cleared for whatever the fuck is en route. You know, the one thing about it, man, is I tell a lot of people that I come in contact with when it comes to these particular stories, and I tell them about you and how you and I'm not afraid to put this out, man, because, you know, the truth is this, man. There are a lot of fucking military members that never came back. The truth is this, that you and I, our primary MOSs are 3521s. Those are diesel mechanics, man. We rebuild, we diagnose, and we ended up volunteering to go to a squad leader and machine gunners course. How long was that course, Farrell? You remember it was like 3 months?
I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty good. I don't think it was a voluntary status though. It was kind of like, hey, you got orders.
Oh, you guys got orders to them. Anyways, so we go, man.
Yeah.
So now we're doing and we're being trained to do the job of infantrymen. So now when they say every Marine's a rifleman, that's absolute, right? But you still have your primary MOS. That could be an MP. That could be fucking administration. That could be a radio operator. You know, crypto communications, all these type of things. But you still have to shoot proficient with your at the time was an M16 iron sights, by the way, no fucking scope. So now we're going to train with the infantry and then they, you know, I don't know how many sergeants we had, how many lance corporals, but it's a good sizable group, and they start splitting us up. Okay, you're going to fucking mortars, you're going to weapons. We start training to do shit the infantry does in a much shorter time period. Yep. And the moment, you know, we graduate out of this course, it might have, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it was 3 or 4 months, but we graduate from the course. And the good thing about it was that they had staff NCOs from our unit there as our staff NCOs, which is fucking great.
Yeah.
So we weren't getting fucking slapped in the fucking mouth like redheaded stepchildren. We had actual staff NCOs from our own unit taking care of us. So we go, we do the fucking humps, we do all the fucking machine gun drills, we do the machine gun shoots, we do everything prepped up infantry. And then the day of graduation, I remember this perfectly, it was on a Friday. And it says, all right, guys, here's your certificates. You guys graduated. Go back to your units. And there was a fucking scuttlebutt. Guys, scuttlebutt is like a rumor that we were going to be attached to this infantry unit that had just trained us. Like, man, whatever, man. That ain't going to happen. We go back to our fucking company, and then they said, all right, guys, grab your shit and go back and report to the unit that you were with for the last 4 months. You guys are going to stand up as a fucking provisionary rifle company. I was like, what?
I don't even think it was a day.
Bro. I was like, what the fuck, man? I said, hold on a second, man. I said, so we're going in as infantry? With infantry? Yeah, well, you guys did the training for 4 months. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. SOI, as far as I'm concerned, which is School of Infantry, is a lot fucking longer than 4 fucking months, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, their training is much more intense and detailed and longer. And they're like, well, you guys are standing up as a rifle company. Grab your M16, go to the armory, grab your M16, you're going to put it into their armory, and boom. Oh, shit. All right. Well, adios, amigos. So you and I, we're sitting there, and we're like, damn, dude, all right, well, let's go. It was I don't know if it was a Friday night. And we say, hey, man, let's go out to Oceanside and let's talk to one of those fortune tellers type shit. And, you know, the basic fucking question, the girl was like, you know, the broad told me, she asked me, she was, what do you want to know? I gave you 3 questions, and I'll give you the answer to. I said, one of them was like, hey, am I going to come back alive and in one piece physically? And she was like, yep, you're going to be all right.
You'll be all right.
She's like, you're going to be all right. I said, cool. That's all I want to know. Let me go get my burrito and my beer. But
damn, man, I forgot all about that.
So I recalled, you know, being at the tarmac February 14th, getting on a plane. Do you remember when we landed in Kuwait? Ladies and gentlemen, we took a commercial flight with M16s, M203s.
Fucking, we had rounds and guns on a fucking, it was Northwest or some bullshit like that.
Hey, man, you know, I felt real fucking bad as we landed in Kuwait and we were leaving, getting out of the airplane. The captains come out and they shake every Marine's hand. And then adjacent to him, you see the fucking stewardess crying. All the fucking stewardess are crying.
Yeah.
And you're like,
there's some hot ones on there, too.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're like, damn, bitch, don't fucking cry. No, you know, I feel like I'm going to die.
Yeah, no shit. You're just sending me off, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, man, I want you fucking, you know, give me a good send-off. Don't fucking cry. What the fuck, man?
Like, take me in the bathroom real quick. You won't be crying.
Oh, man. Joe, without going into details, man, you know, because, look, I don't like talking about the details of Iraq, man, because, you know, some shit, it's better left undisturbed, man. But like I said, without going into details, man, tell us about the experience of Iraq, man. Your experience.
Hey, you know, I'd say the heat was getting off that plane for the first time. It like fucking just smacked you right in the face. Like, oh, goddamn, it's fucking hot here, you know. Mm-hmm. But you know, that's the thing I don't like. All these younger guys coming back, and to be honest with you, it didn't happen right away. But talking about it with people who actually experienced it has been the best therapy for me. There's no better way. You can't go to no goddamn shrink that's never been shot at before and talk to her about how you're feeling. Right. No, ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen at all.
You know, one moment I particularly remember of an experience of you and I. We were on a LPOP in a tower in Kuwait, and LPOP is listening observation post. We were in this tower, and I'm lying to you. We were driving in a Hummer to the tower. I think we had to get batteries or chow or water or some shit. And we're driving in a Hummer to the tower to relieve somebody. And I start singing, you know, we're in the middle of a fucking desert, ladies and gentlemen. And I start singing the Kansas song, Dust in the Wind. All is dust in the wind. And then you fucking turn to me and you goes, you bastard. I was just singing that song in my head.
I know. Like, first of all, I was thinking, how the fuck does he even know this song?
Hey, man, I'm from New York, but I'm well cultured, brother. I just came, you know, just a couple of weeks ago, I went to a Def Leppard concert, man. So believe me, brother. Okay. I listen to Nas just as well as Metallica. It's all good, man. But, hey, man, I remember you and I sitting in the fucking tower and looking at a Rolling Stones magazine, and they had a list of Saddam Hussein's most vilest, top-notch villains. They had Chemical Ali on there, and they were like on these Ace of Spades cards and shit, and Diamond, the clubs, whatever. and they just had the names and their significant description and the horrible shit that they had done. Bro, those 3 o'clock or 12 o'clock fucking post rotations on entry control points, being on post from 12 o'clock at night till 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning were fucking terrible. Do you remember how cold it gets in that fucking
Oh, I was just going to say, that's the first thing that stands out in my mind. It got fucking cold. And it's like, I wasn't prepared for it because I didn't pack any long johns or sweatpants or anything like that. It's like, fuck.
No, man. No, because, you felt, well, we're going into the summertime, but fuck, it was February 14th, man. And then the actual operation didn't fucking kick off until March. So we were stuck in Kuwait, like really a whole month waiting for us to cross the line of departure.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the guys that served under us, Lumpy. Remember Lumpy?
Yeah. Hey, Gonzalez. Okay. Fucking little. Oh, man.
Wasn't he the one that ended up losing the firing pin? Didn't he fucking lose him in the sand or some shit?
I remember something. All I remember is his fucking glasses always had that film of sand on it. So every time he's talking to you, you can't see the motherfucker's eyes because there's this fucking film of sand dust on his fucking glasses. Motherfucker, I can't see if you're looking at me or not. Clean that shit up. This little roly-poly.
Yo, man. I'm going to tell you something, man. He was one of the most lovable characters we had in that fucking platoon, man. I gave him shit, but I also took care of the fat fuck, man. The guy, well, ladies and gentlemen, he wasn't fat. He wasn't fat to say. He just... because
he
of
was
his
round.
He was because of his the motherfucker had no torso. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like neck and ass. That's all you get, man.
Technically he wasn't fat. He was fit and the motherfucker could run his ass off. But because he was so short, man, he looked just like he looked like a goddamn fucking marble, right?
Like a marble with a little pair of glasses on.
But hey, man, I would take care of his ass as much as I could, man. What was the other kid that was in your fire team, man?
Fucking George Miku.
Oh,
the Romanian kid.
Miku.
That's right.
That motherfucker was from Romania and he knew Spanish and he learned it from watching TV.
Yeah.
I would have
an oddball, man.
Bro, I would have open conversations with that son of a bitch. And that motherfucker would talk to me in Spanish. And I would say to him in Spanish, like, how did you fucking learn Spanish? And he would say, hey, when I was a kid, we had a Spanish channel in Romania, and that's how I learned. I was like, the kid was bright, but he was eccentric.
Yeah.
The dude had he was like one of those, what do you call it, man? Idiot savants.
Yeah, he had no street smarts. He was just all book, man. It's just all book for him.
Hey, man, I remember I'll tell you 2 particular events that happened with me and him. Well, one in particular that happened with me and him, but another shit that I just remember him, and to this day, I won't forget. It just, I don't know why some things stick and some things don't. And it's not like it's important or imperative knowledge, but we used to read a lot of books when we were there. And he was a brainiac. The kid used to love reading books. And I'd ask him, hey, what was his name?
Miku.
I said, Miku. I said, is that a good book? Yeah, it's good, Sergeant. I said, when you're done reading it.
Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant.
Yeah. I said, let me read it when you're done with it. And he passed me a couple of good books. And there was this book he was reading called Ender's Game. They ended up coming out with a movie several years back based on the book. And
really?
Yeah. And I ended up reading that book, but apparently what happened is the book was being passed around, and when it got to Miku, somebody knew that Miku loved reading books, and they ended up tearing the last page out of the book. So So the poor kid gets to the second to last page, and then I'm looking at him, right? Because he fucking flips, man. And I'm looking at the kid as he's fucking going berserk. He looks at the last page, he flips it back to the other one, and he's like, no, what the fuck? And he starts fucking screaming, man. And I said, Miku, what the fuck? Sergeant, somebody ripped the last page out of the book. I start fucking rolling, man. I start fucking cracking up. Now, I knew the ending of the fucking book because I had read it like 3 fucking weeks in advance, as the book was being passed around. And I start fucking rolling. He's getting pissed, man. I said, Miku, relax, man. Come over here. I'll tell you the ending, man. I know the ending, but he was fucking pissed, man. But it just goes to show you, man, how there were, especially in Kuwait, there were moments of fucking boredom, man, that you were just waiting to get the fucking call. And bro, do you remember when we I'm talking more than I should, man. This is your interviewed podcast, but talk about how it felt when we first crossed that line of departure. Guys, the line of departure is there's a said line in the map, and once you cross that line in the map, now you're in enemy territory. Joe, talk about how it was that first night when we crossed the line of departure, how big the convoy was, and then us getting attacked without no fucking sleep by Saddam and his dickheads with him launching Scud missiles. Talk about that, man.
I remember we were just sitting on that border forever, they were actually shooting at us before we even crossed, We were all sitting in that truck, and I was just trying to eat. I was so fucking hungry, man. I just wanted to eat. All of a sudden, these motherfuckers start shooting at us. Like, God damn it. I'm fucking throw down all my fucking food. Son of a bitch. But when we finally crossed that border, I think it was dark. It was fucking late. I don't know what time it was. But I remember our convoy got separated. This fucking convoy was just massive. This fucking, you can't even explain how long this convoy was.
You would look to the front and see nothing but fucking service brake lights, and then you would look to the back and see nothing but headlights, and you couldn't see where it stopped and where it started.
There's just no explaining how massive this convoy was. Well, we got separated right after we crossed that border, and it's just like you almost kind of missed it if you weren't looking. It's like, oh shit, we're in Iraq now. If it wasn't for the barbed wire and shit, like, oh fuck, it looked the same on the other side of that fucking piece of sand over there.
I think it was checkpoint Tampa was the line of departure.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, we get there, and then I don't know. It's just I was expecting more. It's like, okay, now we're in actual combat zone. It's like, well, shit, what's gonna happen now? It's just like just kind of waiting. Everything's all dark and eerie. You just kind of just keep your eyes open, because you're just looking for those muzzle flashes. That's all I remember. I was just kind of looking out the side. I mean, we were in soft top truck. We had no armor or nothing. Right. They opened up on us. That was it.
We were fucked. Yeah, we were fucked.
Fucking Swiss cheese.
I recall us going 50-50 and then feeling extremely bad for the fucking driver, because the drivers, man, they must have been driving plus 24 hours plus.
Oh yeah, dude. And you try to get some sleep, but it's just like, okay, I close my eyes, and it's like, oh, I look at your watch, and it's like, oh shit, that's only like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then we would go 50-50. So, guys, 50-50 is the Marine next to you sleeps, you stay awake. The Marine next to you sleeps, the next guy stay awake. So it's 50-50. And you do that for maybe an hour, and then, hey, wake your monkey ass up. And then that's how you would do it. What I remember, Farrell, is when we actually got to the primary stop, they had Iraqi intelligence tracking our movement, but they were maybe like an hour behind. Getting the intelligence to headquarters. And so we left out of, our camp was Camp Coyote in Kuwait. We ended up leaving Camp Coyote, and they were hitting our coordinates an hour or an hour and a half after we were. So if we were moving forward, and if we were at a location and an hour and a half prior, they were hitting those locations an hour and a half after they were getting the information. So it was just delayed. If they would have had more expedient a way of communicating, they really could have fucked us up with Scud missiles.
Oh, dude, the logistics of that invasion. I'm amazed that we were fucking still alive. To be honest with you.
Look, to the point as something so simple as, you remember us, we had our mop suits, right?
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, mop suits is in this, I'll go back to Sergeant Brady, thank you so much, is military operating protective posture, right? So, it's these chemical suits lined with like these charcoal filters to help you protect your body from these chemical attacks, along with your gas mask. And you had 4 seconds or 6 seconds to put it on your fucking head, 8 seconds with the hood, and that's how you would survive a fucking chemical attack. So you already have your fatigue, you got your boxers, you got your fatigues, and then you got these chemical suits, and it's extremely hot. It's so you got your undershirt, your t-shirt, your fatigued shirt on top of that, your blouse, and then this chemical jacket. And you're in the fucking desert and you're sweating your balls off. I mean, so the person with baby wipes, any type of underarm deodorant or shampoo or fucking baby powder was fucking God. Because a couple of days going rancid with you constantly sweating and not being able to shower, it was a pretty good scent that you fucking manifested. And
rank ass.
Hey, for real, I remember the first time, it must have been like over 20 fucking 4 hours that those fucking drivers, we kept fucking marching forward past the line of departure. And the first, you remember how we did the herringbone, right, to protect the convoy as we stopped. Guys, the herringbone is if you have a vehicle in front of you, the vehicle in front of you goes left. The vehicle behind goes right. The vehicle behind that one goes left. The vehicle behind that goes right. And Marines get off left and right, stack forward, and they protect the convoy in the military posture. The first thing that motherfuckers did, and you know what the funny thing is, Joe? Is when we were in the fucking airport, I saw some old crusty ass master sergeant with a fucking toilet seat on his Alice pack, on his fucking, you know what I mean? His fucking Alice pack, right? He's got a toilet seat. And I said, look at this fucking clown ass motherfucker. What a cornball. That motherfucker had experience. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? When you're out there in the fucking desert, you gotta fucking dig a cat hole and you swamp, you get down and you take a dump into that cat hole, wipe your ass as much as clean as you can with whatever toilet paper you got, and you grab your fucking e-tool, your entrenching tool, and you put sand on that shit and you fucking carry forward. You wash your hands the best way you fucking know how. You try to keep sanitary so nobody fucking or yourself gets sick. The moment that fucking convoy stopped, Marines protected the perimeter. Perimeter set, perimeter protected. A bunch of motherfuckers came with ammo cans that were hollowed out. The top and bottom, it was just empty. It was just a shell of a box. And they would just sit on it, and that was their toilet. They took a dump into the cat hole and then like, all right, next. And Marines to the left and to the right, mind you. There wasn't no, hey, I'm going to go way back over there behind that berm. There was no fucking time. Perimeter is set. Marines are protecting you while Marines are taking a shit. And there's a line of motherfuckers like it's a concert. And then to the left of you is another Marine taking a shit. To the right of you, there's another Marine taking a shit. Yeah. And you're like, hey, man, we got to shit and go. Marines taking a piss. Marines trying to eat. Marines trying to fucking... we would eat coffee out of the Marines ready to eat meals just to stay awake. It was a fucking gaggle fuck, and it was necessary. Because guess what? Hey, guys, you guys got 5 minutes to piss.
Everybody had their own ritual that they were doing. I'm pretty sure there was a motherfucker somewhere in that convoy. Hey, I'm going to rub one out real quick. And that motherfucker was probably hiding behind a 5-ton truck. Oh, I got to jack this real fucking fast. I guarantee it, man.
Shit, Joe, you crazy, dog. Hey, man, I remember the first night after that fucking 24-hour fucking convoy up north into Iraq, we finally get to stabilize a set checkpoint. And because we're technically our job was security, convoy security and camp security. So now as everyone is fucking sleeping, now we got to go back to that bullshit boot camp shit. All right, guys, we have a list of who's going to be on fucking watch. And it wasn't, now it wasn't just one motherfucker. Now it was squads of Marines walking this huge fucking perimeter. And it wasn't even, to us it was huge, but it must have been like 3 platoons of Marines. But that was just a small segment of our fucking security responsibility. There were other detachments of Marines that had to do the same thing. So we would walk in parallel circles, and then you see another Marine from another unit. Hey, what's up, Marine? Fuck, dog, not trying to die, man. We're tired as fuck. Yeah, I'll see you around when we circle again here in the next fucking 30 minutes. It was that fucking huge, man. Yeah. And I recall that fucking night we got no sleep. Because what was happening is Saddam was launching Scud missiles at our previous coordinates. And in Camp Coyote and Camp Matilda, where the British were, they had set up Patriot missiles. So they were still providing cover for us while we were already within the line of departure of Iraq. We were in Iraq, combat territory. And then Saddam was launching Scuds towards our previous positions of a coordinated 1.5 hour prior, and then you would see the burst of the rocket in the night, and then you would see it disappear above in the clouds, but you could still see the light and like shine down through the clouds.
Hear it, man.
Yeah,
I can still remember that sound.
Talk about it, Farrell.
No, it's hearing it for the first time and actually being on the on the receiving end. I guess it's just I never forget that noise. It's just because it's so quiet, it's so clear out there in that desert. You can see for miles, especially at night. And there's a nice full moon out.
Yeah, man. It's eerie. It's fucking eerie. You would see the Scud missile. You would see the actual bright starburst of the afterburner disappear into the line of clouds, but still see the glow of light. And then from our south, you would see another starburst of afterburner, and that was the Patriot. And it would lock onto the fucking Scud, and then like right above in the high night sky, you would see a bright fucking explosion. And you would see the light first, and then like 3 seconds later, you would hear pop, and fucking Marines would go fucking crazy, hooting and hollering, "Yeah, motherfucker, I'll fuck your mama." It was exhilarating and fucking exhausting at the same time, man.
I remember I was coming to relieve you and Lumpy on one of those OPs one night. It was daytime. It was daytime. I'm coming up. I don't know. I got a truck, and you guys were in the little machine gun nest.
Right. And
there's this fucking car coming down the road. Little civilian car coming down the road. And we're right at our position. It's like, holy shit. Hey, you guys had the heavy gun, so I wasn't in shouting distance yet, so I'm trying to haul my ass fast as I can to where you guys were at. Because I didn't know if you've seen them or not. It's like, man, I just remember I was running so goddamn fast. It was so fucking hot. I was sweating my fucking balls off. And I get over there, you guys were already locked onto them. I'm like, what's up? What's up? I said, give me, I gotta catch my fucking breath first, man. I said, hold on. I can't fucking breathe. This motherfucker come rolling up on us. He had no idea what was going on. Do you remember that fucker? It was a white car. It had an orange stripe on it.
Yeah, the orange stripe meant peace, non-combat vehicle.
Yeah, that motherfucker almost got lit the fuck up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, Lumpy was the machine gunner, and I was like, hey, man, I got this. I took control of the machine gun. I was like, I didn't want this kid firing on an innocent victim.
Fucking cut his head off. I couldn't see him because my glasses were dirty. Yeah, you stupid motherfucker.
Hey, man, my squad ends up getting jump ward duty. Guys, the jump ward is the...
Oh, shit.
These medevac, they're medical tents, and they're bringing in Marine combatants who are wounded, but due to humanitarian sanctions, they were also bringing enemy combatants into the same tent who were wounded.
Geneva Conventions.
Right. So my squad ends up getting tasked with providing security to surgeons to conduct operations and the security of the encampment, because we have enemy prisoners of war who are injured coming into these wards, these surgery facilities. They're fucking tents.
Yeah.
You know, but they're being run by these generators. Joe, were you with us that night?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bro, so you fucking remember how that particular night we had one of, I think, 2 major sandstorms, right? And we ended up getting bogged down in those surgery camps.
Dude, it was like the biggest one recorded in who knows how long.
Decades, man.
Yeah, and it's just, we couldn't do nothing. Couldn't see shit. The fucking sand was in your face. Couldn't breathe.
Man, guys, listen, we're in these surgery wards, and this is the evening. So helicopters can't come in or out. They can't fly because of this fucking huge sandstorm, and no one can see shit. Like, everything is shut down. Guess what? Nobody's coming to relieve us. We're stuck in that fucking shit for like 19, 20 hours.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, hey, guys, all right, guys, we're going to go 50-50. Half of you guys go to sleep, half of you guys stay awake. And, man, I remember the next morning, I was like, fuck, man, we're exhausted. I got to get these guys the fuck out of here. And I walked outside, and there was a corporal. And I said, hey, come here, corporal. I said, what unit you with? Oh, we're with fucking CSSG 10. I said, look, we're with Combat Support Group 11. I need you to tell your staff NCO that we're here providing security for the surgeons, you know, for enemy combatants. I said, we've been here on watch well over 20 hours. We need relief ASAP, like now. Tell him to send a squad of Marines here, and then we're going to fucking take off, and then he can go ahead and formulate whatever fucking, you know, fire watch he wants, but we got to go. And he was like, 8 Marines come, and they're like, hey, who are we relieving? Hey, you're relieving me. And we probably had like a good 12 guys. And we're like, all right.
We cleared that fucking tent out.
We said, all right, you guys got it. Wait, what orders do we have? Okay, the storm is done. Helicopters are going to come in. When they come in, you tap. They're not going to take them into the tent until you physically take all their clothes off and inspect that they don't have any bombs, munitions, weapons, and then they'll bring them into the tent, and then they'll operate on the motherfuckers. But you got to make sure you're doing a full fucking search, stripping them down, and you're taking all their paraphernalia and you're confiscating it. What else? I said, yeah, exactly. What else? That's it, guys. Good luck. And we hitchhiked back to our. You remember that? We hitchhiked.
Yeah.
Back to our fucking unit. And when we got to our unit, Joe, do you remember the fucking tent was like, due to the sandstorm, it was totally destroyed. It was like
gone, man.
It was gone. And then our company, our platoon is like trying to pick up the tent, but it's covered with sand. And then here we come. It's like 12 of us. And then all of a sudden, somebody starts barking orders at us. All right, guys, I need you guys over here. I need you guys over there. And I fucking got pissed, man. I said, no one from my fucking squad is doing shit. We've been stuck at that fucking surgery tent for 20 fucking hours and we haven't slept. And we're going to go and lay the fuck down in the sun. We ain't doing a damn thing.
Yeah. I don't think you realized there was nowhere to lay down, though, man.
No, man, I was just fucking pissed. You're absolutely right.
I remember that. I remember you going off on somebody.
Hey, man, you know the cool thing was, man, that Gunny.
Oh, yeah. Robertson.
Robertson. Such a fucking cool guy, man. You know what Gunny Robertson did, man? Gunny Robertson pulled me to the side and he said, Sergeant Lopez, I want to apologize for us not relieving you, but you realize we couldn't do anything about it. I say, Gunny, I understand. I just don't want anyone else tasking us to do shit after we've been up for 20 plus hours. And he goes, don't worry about it. He goes, you're not going to find shade, but just sit back, relax. We'll take care of it. And I was like, Roger that. I was like, thanks, Gunny. I appreciate you. Real cool cat, man.
Yeah, I liked him.
Real
and
cool
that other
cat.
Guy, what was that staff sergeant's name that was with him?
Rodriguez or Hernandez.
Hernandez, yeah.
He was always the bearer of bad news, man. He always brought the bad news to the fucking compadres, man.
I had to ask him twice every time because sometimes he talked really kind of fast and he had that accent, you know. And I couldn't tell it. It's like, are you giving me bad news or should I take this with a fucking smile right now?
Hey man, remember he got bit by a scorpion and had fever.
Yeah,
he had a fever for like 2 days.
Yeah, he was out of commission. Like that motherfucker crawled up my leg. Like, dude, what happened to your fucking boot bands, man? You tighten that shit up.
Oh, hey man, remember when we were on the outskirts of Al Nazaria and there was a point where we had to secure the perimeter. And within that perimeter, there was a firefight and like 80 Iraqis had died and they had brought a bulldozer to bury them. Mm-hmm. And we had a set perimeter. I don't know. It was in the middle of a highway, man. And I remember one particular, they had grabbed the bodies and put them into this big, huge fucking landfill. And it was like a mass grave. And, they weren't properly buried. Like you would find souvenirs everywhere. Like you'd find like Iraqi gas masks, army patches, like an old musket. You're like, damn, dude, this is the armament these guys are trying to fight us with. Good luck. Yeah. They're fucked, you know?
Yeah. Fucking primitive monsters. What is this bullshit?
Hey man, but I remember in that particular location, a fucking camel spider had gotten into our fucking tent. And a Marine saw it, and I saw it as the bitch like walked into the front of the fucking tent. And, the Marine goes, camel spider. And I was like, kill it, bitch, kill it. And
the fucking spider walked in. This is my fucking tent now, bitch.
Hey, man, every fucking Marine took all their fucking gear, all the cots out of that fucking tent until they found that camel spider and killed them. We weren't going to sleep. We were not going to sleep with that fucking camel spider in that. Those bitches were like the size of your hand, man.
And they were fucking gruesome looking little bastards.
Bro, fucking way. Imagine your ass over there fucking sleeping. You got a camel fucking spider biting your fucking dick. Hell no.
Just dancing on your nose like, go ahead, sleep, Lopez. I got you.
Oh, shit, man. That particular location, so many things happened at that particular location. Because the bodies weren't properly buried, maybe it wasn't too long, maybe 2-3 days, you could start smelling the funk of like decomposing flesh. Right?
Yeah.
And when you would catch that hot, whether it was the southern wind coming your way, and because the burial plot or the fucking mass grave was to the north, and if that hot south wind came and hit you at a good spot, we were pretty far from it. But every time you had to go and do, if you were the sergeant of the guard and you had to go to the listening and observation post, you had to replenish water, MREs, and batteries for the radios, and you would always cross adjacent to that path, and that shit was pungent. And then there was a little, like a pond where like one or two bodies had to be pulled, dead Iraqis had to be pulled out, and we had the fucking balls to grab our ISO mats. Guys, our ISO mat is like, if you ever saw like old school Marine photographs or commercials, it looks like a green Tootsie Roll on top of the backpack. Well, what that is, it's a very thin foam flat mattress, and you will lay that on the ground, and that's where you go to sleep. It's like a little very, so you're not sleeping on rocks directly. It's like a little foam mattress. Yeah. So we would grab the ISO mat, we would open it up, and we would utilize those as fucking like flotation devices and lay on them, and we were fucking swimming in the same pond where two dead bodies were pulled out of, and we're like, yo, fuck it, man. We're washing our ass here, brother. No
shit.
Just the craziness that you wouldn't expect to fucking bathe or swim in the same body of water where two dead bodies were just pulled out of. Who knows how many hours those bodies were in that fucking water.
Dude, you remember them guys, they were jumping in there, they were going swimming after.
Yeah.
So what the fuck is wrong with you guys, man?
Yeah.
Fucking dumb motherfucker.
Well, guess what?
I go swim in some dirty Haji blood. I'm all right. I was standing there on a bank smoking a cigarette. You dumb motherfucker. It's like, I'm gonna take a piss in this water while you're swimming in it.
You a dirty motherfucker, man. Hey, man, I remember, I was a sergeant of the guard, and I had to get up at, it might have been maybe 2:00 in the morning. My post was from 2 to 4. And guys, when you're the sergeant of the guard, you have to get in your Hummer, you grab another Marine with you within your fire team or squad, and then you drive to each listening and observation post to make sure that they're good. Ammo's good, water's good. And you can't drive with headlights on because you're in a combat environment. So what you do is you grab your night vision goggles, and then you have this black light. The black light's, it's a small little... a bulb.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, it's like a little bulb, and you can't fucking see this shit, but your night vision goggles pick it up, and it illuminates your path. The problem is with night vision goggles is that it gives out a glare when you look at out the front of the windshield. So you really have to stick your head outside of the Hummer to get a clear view vision of where the fuck you're going, right?
So fucking Dukes and Hazzards out there, bro.
Exactly, man. So one of my guys in my fire team was Lance Corporal Simpson. I don't know.
Oh, Simpson.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man, I like that motherfucker. That son of a bitch.
That motherfucker was a hard dog. He knocked out.
Yeah.
He knocked out Reidenhire or some shit. Reidenhire.
Oh yeah. He was a skinny motherfucker too, man.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
He reached up and just fucking cock blocked that son of a bitch.
Knocked his ass the fuck out for running his suck. But so anyways, I'm the sergeant of the guard. He's my passenger, right? And I got my head out the window, and I'm driving down this fucking highway, and then we have to cut a right to check on the northeastern observation post, and then we're passing the mass fucking grave, man. And fucking Lance Corporal Simpson says to me, "Hey, Sergeant Lopez, how many bodies do you think are in that hole?" And I said, "I don't know, man." I said, "But I don't want to think about it. It's 2:30 in the morning." And he goes, "Yeah, man, I was thinking about the same thing, man. You think they're ghosts, they're here, and they're pissed." I was like, "Dog, change the fucking subject of the fucking conversation. I don't want to talk about that." And then now I start seeing shit through the fucking through the night vision goggles, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" I said, "Simpson, shut the fuck up. Talk to me about something else. You fucking me up, man. I can't see shit with these night vision goggles. You talking about ghosts and apparitions and shit? Hell yeah, those motherfuckers are pissed. There's got to be 60 fucking dead bodies in that shit. What the fuck?
They got no idea."
That was crazy, man. And then we ended up getting enemy prisoners of war within that same location. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. I remember the motherfuckers.
Guys, we ended up, it was primitive, man. Tell them about our primitive encampment we had for these guys on a temporary basis.
Yeah. We had no prior training on what to do, So we had some Constantine wire. I think there was 11 of them at first. Right. We had 11 EPWs at first. It's like, well, all right, let's make a fucking circle.
Right.
We put this Constantine. There's nothing around us. We're in the middle of fucking nowhere. We just got this circle of Constantine wire, threw these 11 EPWs in there. And then, I don't know what, somebody came and dropped off a pallet of kidney beans. All in cans,
shit!
you know?
I remember that. Oh, what had
we
happened?
gotta feed these motherfuckers.
What had happened was a truck full of canned beans had got blown up, had got hit. There were beans all over the fucking road, and they had picked it up and they had fucking dropped off the canned beans, and that's what we fed. We fed them water and canned beans,
kidney beans, yeah. And then we got tired. We got tired of opening the fucking cans for them. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have no fucking can opener. We just had our fucking bayonets and so, well, shit, let's cut a hole in this motherfucker. Yeah.
No shit, man. I totally forgot about that.
You remember that crazy fucking Iraqi? He was one of the prisoners. He was just shooting his mouth off about something I couldn't understand. And he just started rubbing his fucking arms on the Constantine wire, cutting up his skin and shit. He's just cutting himself up.
I forgot about that.
What the fuck is this fucking squirrely bastard doing, man?
I forgot about that shit, man. Holy shit.
And then one of them motherfuckers grabbed my leg. I think it was that fucking crazy bastard. He was trying to talk. I think you and me were in the pit. We didn't have any weapons on us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want to, we don't know how strong. Maybe one of these motherfuckers is Hulk Hogan or some shit. So we didn't have no weapons in the pit. This motherfucker grabs my leg, and you're like, oh, okay. We probably could take this motherfucker, but there's fucking 10 of them behind us.
Right.
All I remember is Lumpy with his fucking glasses. He locked back that saw, and he's ready to go. And it's like, I looked at him, I'm looking at you, I'm like, I'm not having the little marble shooting trying to protect us. It's like, this motherfucker, he can't even see, man.
Those fucking dirty glasses.
We're about to get fucking lit up with some 5.56 by our own man. It's like, say, hey, cool it. Let's bring it back down now, Lumpy. Come on now.
That was gonna fuck us up, dog.
Damn.
Oh, shit, man. Fuck, dude. What I remember is that there was one of them was an officer, and everyone else in that little fucking round encampment of prisoners was enlisted, and they fucking shunned him, bro. They shunned him.
Oh yeah.
I remember that. I remember looking at him like, damn, dude, this is where you get payback, buddy, for all the bullshit mistreatment you did to your enlisted men. This is where it fucking happens. And I remember, do you recall that night, for whatever reason, the dung beetles will come out of the woodworks? Oh
yeah, them little fucking shit rollers, man.
Fuck, man. And
I take a shit and they just come out of nowhere.
I remember these guys, they were captive, and the dung beetles just start coming out, and they're like talking to us like for us to do something about them. We're like, hey, we got to deal with them too, buddy. And then the officer is getting pissed off, like, how dare you have these dung beetles touch me? And I'm like, hey, buddy, deal with it. They were
getting weirded out.
Yeah, man, they were scared of fucking dung beetles. I was like, bitch, those aren't camel spiders. Wait till the camel spiders come out.
This is your fucking land, man. You should be used to these son of a bitches.
I know, no shit, man. I was like, dude, man, these are fucking friendly critters. Hey, I remember one time we were at a LPOP, and it was an old Iraqi machine gun position. And they had older fucking sandbags, but the sandbags were still intact. So what we decided to do was to utilize that position, and because of the sandstorm, we had to, clean the shit out, dig the hole deeper, and later on as we're cleaning out these sandbags and we're picking them up, there's fucking snakes, like these small snakes underneath the fucking bags, and scorpions. And it would get to the point where I would have my boy Carmody with a fucking shovel, and I'm like, all right, I'm
Carmody. Holy shit, I haven't heard that fucking name in a while.
I would have him with the E-tool, and I'd be like, all right, man, I'm ready to pick up the shovel. You ready? Yup. I'd pick it up, and he would just come down, and he either hit a fucking snake or a fucking scorpion, man. And later that evening, in that same fucking position, here come the fucking dung beetles. And that was the first time that we got fucking attacked. And you're watching the sun go down. Oh shit, the starlights are coming out. Oh shit, you got NVGs. You're looking out for enemy activity. All of a sudden you hear like this like clicking sound. And there, I remember we turned on our fucking moon beams with the fucking red lens, and there were a shit tons of dung beetles everywhere on the floor. And you're like, oh shit, man. So you start stomping your fucking feet everywhere, killing them as much as you can. And they just keep coming out in droves. And then you're like, you're like sitting down on some kind of makeshift bench with your fucking feet up, looking down range at NVGs because there's all these fucking dung beetles everywhere, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, man. Those motherfuckers were vicious.
I'm going to go back a bit, man, when we ended up meeting the British commandos.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys were cool as fuck, man. Remember when we were BZOing our rifles?
Yep.
Guys, BZOing your rifles is when you're getting your true sight alignment for your M16, right? You're sighting it in. And
when you don't have a fucking scope, you gotta actually.
Exactly. And then so we're sighting it in, and then here come these British commandos. They were adjacent to us, and this is back in Kuwait. I'm going back a bit. They were at Camp Matilda, and then they had this what would be considered an equivalent to our SAW, right? Our squad automatic weapon, right?
Yeah.
So it's an equivalent of a small machine gun. And then they said to us, "Hey guys, take a look at this." He goes, "Does your squad automatic weapon, does it jam a lot?" We're like, "Yeah, it can if we get dirt and grime into it, and you have, the lubricant. It'll jam." And then they said, "Look at this, guys," and they grabbed like a bunch of handful of like
fucking
these
handful of
sand and pebbles, and as the machine gun is firing, they're putting the sand and the pebbles into the firing bolt chamber, and the chamber is just crushing these pebbles and sand, and the shit is not locking or stopping or nothing. It's just, and we were like, holy shit, our fucking squad automatic weapon, that bitch would have jammed.
Yeah. Fuck, that saw sucked balls in the sand, man.
Bro, man, which leads me to this. It was another sandstorm when we were in Iraq. And supposedly we didn't have any air support because obviously there's a sandstorm, but they get reports of an Iraqi mechanized unit coming our direction. You remember that day?
I do. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that day?
There's so many stories coming in. It was you, me, and Thompson. Remember Sergeant Thompson?
I remember Thompson.
I just remember all the stories were coming in. It's like, wait, well, we couldn't tell what was bullshit and what wasn't. I remember them. There was a machine gun nest that we had set up, and I remember this lieutenant coming out yelling out this fucking tent. Never seen this guy before. Had no fucking idea who he was. No idea whose unit he was with. He's yelling at us that we had the machine gun nest set up in the wrong spot. I don't know. One of us, I don't think it was me because I would have remembered it, but one of us just going off on this motherfucker. So who the fuck you think you are? You this fucking boot lieutenant coming in there trying to tell us what's, putting our fucking machine gun nest. And he had threatened some of us with a court martial. It couldn't have been me. It had to be one of you two.
Nah, I don't think it was. I don't think it was me. I don't think it was Thompson either. Thompson was much more of a kiss ass. So, yeah. Well, I'm just being honest. Thompson loved sucking dick and kissing ass. His nose smelled like ass every day of the week. But I tell you what, it wasn't me. I got into it with a gunny. Because what happened is, so we set up perimeter. So guys, we set up a Marine adjacent to each other. We set up a line, and they start handing out AT-4s. AT-4s are your shoulder propelled rocket launchers, and they start handing out grenades. And we're like, hey, we're going to be attacked by a mechanized unit. Get in formation. Get in line. So we form a line, and it's fucking gunny from another gunnery sergeant from another unit who I have no fucking idea who he is, right? I'm getting my guys, prepped. And then he says, guys, start digging a fighting hole. And I said, with what? Our E-tools, our entrenching tools, our shovels are back in the tents, 200 meters back. 200 yards back. We're not going to run to that. I said, we're in the middle of... I'm sorry,
we couldn't even see the fucking tents, man. No, I was just going to say, we couldn't even see the fucking tents. I remember that.
And he goes... And then he grabs, those, you remember the tent poles that had like those hooks to the side of them?
Yeah, those engineering stakes.
He starts tossing those out to everyone, like, to the left and to the right. He goes, use this. And I said, there's a sandstorm. The faster we dig these holes, they're getting filled up by the sandstorm that very same moment. Just dig. And I said, hey, guys, don't dig. Fucking put your shit down and fucking sight forward. We got no time for this bullshit. Who the fuck are you? He goes, who the fuck are you? Yeah, man, he wants us to dig a hole with guys, imagine a stick, that's maybe 2 inches thick. And he wants us to dig a hole with this shit in soft sand while there's a sandstorm coming in. And with a mechanized unit coming in, you got no time for that shit. Bro, listen, there's no sandbags, there's no protection. There is nothing that you could fucking do that was going to stop that mechanized unit from fucking us up with a few AT-4s and some medium to light machine gun fire and grenades. Nothing was going to stop that mechanized unit. We were going to be cannon fodder.
Yeah, we heard there are stories I remember they're coming in from north to south. It's like,
we didn't even know whether we set up a 360 perimeter with every swinging dick, and I believe it was Camp Viper, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Where that fucking where that shit fucking happened. And this fucking gun is like, start digging. I was like, Marines, don't do shit. Lock and load, sights on fucking hard fucking target on iron sights. Do not waste your fucking time.
You were an God damn it, man.
Insubordinate
motherfucker, weren't you?
Man,
I'm from El Salvador, motherfucker. I ain't digging nothing.
Fuck them. The funny thing, Joe, was that you remember the gator necks that we had that were utilized to protect our face, our nose, our mouth from sand?
Yeah.
Listen, man, I remember wearing that shit, and then after, it was like the sandstorm was still going on, but then we ended up getting information, hey, stand down, mechanized unit is not coming our way. I remember I took the gator neck off. I was breathing from my mouth because my nostrils were so compacted with sand that was getting through the gator neck. The fine sand was just going through the small pockets of fabric of the gator neck, and I was having to hold one nostril and then blow out, and then like boogers of sand would shoot out each nostril. It was fucking ridiculous. And then we got Marines in the line, and then we had to download and unchamber the round to make the weapon secure, right? And then when you tried to pull an ejector round out, the bolt was stuck. Like you couldn't fucking pull it because the sand had compacted into the chamber that it stuck the bolt in the chamber together. And you had to grab one Marine to hold the side of the barrel, and the other Marine would fucking rack it with all his might. You would have got one shot off, and then the bolt would have stuck. If that. The bolt would have stuck and jammed, and all you had left were, I don't know, maybe 12 AT-4s and maybe how many handful of grenades we had left. We would have been fucked.
Yeah.
We would have been fucked.
Between 8 of us, we had maybe 2,400 rounds.
Yeah, man.
Just between 8 Marines going against tanks and shit.
Nah, that shit would have been fucked, man. We would have been assed out, man. Another thing that I always remember you with this specific action or experience was one of the first days that we had traversed through the line of departure, and the Iraqi army was constantly hitting us with Scud missiles or attempting to hit us. It was an afternoon. It was late in the afternoon. It must have been 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the Marine Corps was savvy enough to grab these bulldozers and make these big, huge fucking holes in the sand. And those were the holes that we were supposed to run and jump into when the Scud, the Scud attacks would happen. And we were supposed to put on our mob suits and the whole nine. And I remember this particular afternoon, it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm chilling with one of my corporals, and we're underneath a 5-ton, trying to get as much shade as we can. And all of a sudden, we see Marines just running for no apparent reason. They know why they're running. We have no idea why they're running, but it's like a crowd. You see people running, you just get up and start running, right?
Yeah.
And then him and I, we get up and we just start trotting along with him. Like, why are you guys running? Scud attack. And even in the daytime, you could still see the small starburst, and you could see the smoke trail of the Scud. And then you could see the motherfuckers like coming towards our direction. And then we jump into this big fucking hole. And then I'm sitting in front of you. I'm huffing and puffing because I just ran like, I don't know how many yards. I'm huffing and I'm breathing hard. I'm hot. I'm sweating. I got the gas mask on, and I'm looking at you, and I look around, and there's a bunch of Marines in this fucking hole. And then I say to myself, to this day, I remember saying to myself, damn, I'm going to die amongst a bunch of stinky ass Marines.
You'll be sitting next to my ball sweat. You'll be smelling like Joe Farrell ball sweat and piss.
I said, is this the way I'm going to die? A bunch of stinky ass Marines. And I just put my head down and I said, fuck it. Hey, this is the way it is. This is the way it is. But we were together from March, April, May, June. We were together for 4 months, correct?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, 4 months. And then we got orders that we were going back home, and myself and a few choice others decided that the pay was too good and the hazardous life was something that we wanted to hang out with for a bit more, than our unit. And we volunteered to stay in Iraq longer.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think the pay was the factor. We were getting good hazard pay, but you couldn't because you were getting out shortly, right?
That crushed me, man. I don't think you realize how bad that hurt. When Gunny came up to me, Farrell, you got orders, you're going back to Kuwait. Like, Gunny, what do you mean, man?
Yeah.
I'm here. I want to stay.
Yeah.
No, you got orders. Dude, that fucking hurt, man.
Yeah.
Probably I can withstand, dying and being with you guys and being over there, but getting shot at, that was nothing. But that fucking just crushed me.
Farrell, but didn't you go back with the unit?
It wasn't a full unit. It was just a handful of us. There was just maybe 60 guys. They just pulled a few of us. Yeah, so they just plucked them out of the platoons, out of the 2 machine gun platoons and the mortar platoon. And it's just like we go back in Kuwait, and it's just like, man, I don't recognize any of these guys.
No way.
There's none of my people here, It's just like,
right. No way, man. The last time you and I shook hands was when we had already volunteered to stay, and they had designated us to, I think it might have been 10 of us. They had designated us to another unit already, and we were getting on a convoy to head north, and you guys were probably going to be there another 2 weeks and going to go back to the continental United States. And that's the last time you and I shook hands and said goodbye.
Yeah.
Was in Iraq.
That was it, man.
And I figured that you had gone back with the unit because, you guys only had a couple of weeks left before you guys left Iraq. I didn't know that they sent you forward. I had no idea.
Yeah. It sucks, man.
Wow, man. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, man. It sucked to leave the old unit. That's for sure, man. Because everything that you knew and everyone that you trained with, now you're leaving with a small group of those people, and then like the majority of them, you're never gonna know if you're gonna see them again. Most importantly, you're not gonna go into combat with them. You know,
Dude, I watched when I came back home. Well, first we got to Pendleton, right? And it was some fucking bullshit show. We get off the fucking bus. They got fucking hot cider and coffee and donuts at this staging area. Everybody's, welcome home, welcome home. It's like, I didn't recognize anybody. I was just like, fuck, just fucking take me back to the barracks so I can go start drinking. This is fucking bullshit.
we didn't come back to Pendleton until, like I said, October 5th, man. We stayed. As a matter of fact, you remember Sergeant Margot?
Yeah, Margot. I didn't like that motherfucker, but anyway.
I hear you. He definitely he rubbed some people the wrong way. He called us July 4th while they were celebrating the 4th of July at Del Mar Beach in Pendleton just to check up on us. And we're like, yeah, man, our security is heightened just because it's July 4th and we fear that we're going to get attacked. But you know, the cool thing, Joe, was that, like I said, man, I wasn't the only one that decided to stay in Iraq. It was Lumpy stayed with us. Lumpy stayed with me. I definitely took care of him. Sergeant Molino, who was, you know, I ended up being his roommate afterwards. He stayed with us. Sergeant Romirdrit stayed with us.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, you know, we stayed in good company, man. We stayed in good company.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Like a Romero.
But Joe, you know, when you returned and you got out the Corps, man, how did you deal with, you know, or how are you dealing with everything that, you know, you experienced in Iraq, man?
Dude, the biggest thing is I felt like I abandoned all my brothers, man. It hurt for years.
Nah, man. Nah, don't say that, brother.
Yeah, I tell you, I watch the fucking news all the time. It's just like, man, I can't believe all my brother, because I didn't know you guys are still there. Because, you know, I come back, I get worse checking out, and I'm on my way home back to Michigan. It's like, what the fuck? And I had no idea where you were. You know, Thompson, all the other boys. It's like, yeah. Man, I started looking up. I started looking up Niku, and I looked up Gonzalez too, a little fucking lumpy. I checked them out. You know, I got promoted to corporal later on. I seen it's like, okay. I couldn't find you for a while. And then that's when Facebook started getting popular. It's like, there's a motherfucker right here. All right.
Hey, man, do you still keep in contact or know how to contact Lumpy or Miku?
No, I tried. Last I seen was probably like 2007 or something, maybe 10 years ago. On Marine Online. My account was still active.
Right.
So I'd seen them. They were getting out. They were all done because I looked up their unit, and then they went home. Remember, Miku lived in California, and fucking Gonzo was in Illinois, Chicago, I think.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you always talked about Stacy Adams shoes. And how
fucking Stacey Adams, motherfucker. I could see him wearing some bright red ass pants with some fucking Stacey Adams shoes and a fucking button up shirt. He would fucking always, smoking a cigarette out there.
He'd always talk about wearing his pimp hat with his feathers sticking out.
Yep, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it one bit.
Hey, man, you know what was hard for me was returning, man. I don't know why I was scared to come back to continental United States, man. I don't know why. It was much more dangerous there. But I had been there since February into October. And I had grown accustomed to the stress and the anxiety. It fucking became a part of me, man. And coming back to peace scared me, believe it or not.
No doubt. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. It coming back to Garrison scared me, and I didn't want to fucking come back, man. It was fucking crazy. I don't understand how that makes sense, or how that could make sense to the average person, you know?
The amount of adrenaline that we seen, you can't replicate that in a civilian world.
Right.
I mean, even if you become a cop or something like that, it's like you still can't replicate it.
Yeah.
Either you're going to turn to drugs, or you're just going to become a mercenary or something like that, where somebody has to shoot at your ass all fucking day.
Right.
To keep that adrenaline up all the time.
Have you ever seen that movie, The Hurt Locker?
Yeah.
Yeah, that hit home for me, man. When old boy was back in the United States, and you know, it's almost like you don't feel at home until you're back there for whatever reason. It's crazy, man.
I remember there's quite a few times where I'm home and it's just like, fuck this, man. I'd rather be over there.
It's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy because you're not that. Why would you? But it's almost like you become an addict to the adrenaline of danger, man.
Right.
You know, it's fucking crazy, man. And anything after that is dulled down. It's but you know, it's like a multi-layered percussion, man. Because even you wanting it, or being afraid of the opposite, it debilitates you because it hits you in so many other fucking ways. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like it's like you being with a mistress, and you know the mistress isn't good for you, and she's crippling you, but then you still long to be with her. You know, it makes no fucking sense, right?
It's like standing on the edge of a cliff, right? You know, and you know, if you take another step forward, you're done.
Right.
And your asshole kind of puckers up a little bit, and you're like, you put that left foot out, and you're like, okay, I'll lean forward just a little bit, and your asshole's just blowing a kiss to the world behind you.
Hey, man, but you know, the thing about it is that a lot of people don't know that's you're fucking living, man.
Yeah.
That's when you're really fucking living, when you're fucking nuts, and you're like that close to fucking death. There is nothing, you're living, man. Like there. You know, it's hard to explain, man, but everything else after that is fucking dull. It's just fucking dull. You know, and it's hard to explain, man. But, you know, a sad thing for me was to return, you know, back to the unit, and then maybe find 3 or 4 of the people that were in the original unit back at the company headquarters, and everybody else is 90% of the fucking staff and personnel are people that you fucking never met from another unit, or that are brand new out of fucking boot camp, and you're like, who the fuck are you? And then you're walking around like, bitch, the boss is back, motherfucker. And they're looking at you like, who the fuck? Right. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Who's this motherfucker?
And then they're looking at you like, who the fuck is this bitch? And you're looking at them like, bitch, I'm the boss. And they're like, fuck off. God damn it.
It's like, God damn it. I almost wish we had an inspection so I could put my fucking deltas on so you could see my fucking stack of ribbons.
You could see my fucking fruit salad, bitch, my medals. You know,
put my combat action in your face, motherfucker.
Exactly. I'm back, bitch. And, you know, luckily, you know, some of the guys from our unit who had already been there, had gotten there in, you know, late June, were there. So there would be a master gunnery sergeant, a fucking first sergeant, a warrant officer, and I'd come in, I checked into the unit, back into the unit, and then there'd be guys, you know, staff sergeant or a gunny. Hey, this is Sergeant Lopez. He served with us in Iraq, and, you know, back in February, and oh, okay, good to go. All right. Then you get a little bit of fucking respect. But aside from that, they're looking at you like another fucking number, man. It's almost like, you know, if you're not wearing your uniform that shows your medals or ribbons, they're looking at you like another schmuck. Hey, bitch, get to work. You know, they don't give a fuck. They don't, you know, there's no story above your head of what you accomplished and what the fuck you've done, man. You're like, hey, who the fuck are you? Yeah, we're running shit here now. Don't care how long you were and how you ran shit here. It's being run a new way. Shut the fuck up, get in line. And I really, coming back to that and not seeing any of my fucking like real buddies, like you were gone, Burgers was gone, Romerdred was gone, Molina was fucking, I mean, everybody that I really connected with from the original unit had either, got out of the military or had gone to another fucking unit. Was on the East Coast or had gotten orders to Okinawa, and I felt empty.
Sucks about it, man.
I felt because after that shit, you want to be around the motherfuckers that you were in the shit with. And
dude.
You know what I'm saying? Not to necessarily talk about it, but just to be around them, have beers, and just to sit. And when I say not to talk about it, it was just a mutual understanding, man. We'll talk about anything else but that. But I know what the fuck you've been through, and I don't gotta say nothing about it. But there was no cushion of comfort when we got back. You left. There was no cushion of comfort for you back home. There were no and that's the fucked up thing about. The military, man, is I feel it's so imperative to, if you go as a unit, retain that unit together as long as you can and let it be a decompression period with those members until they're ready to be like, hey, time to depart.
You need that. We need it. We absolutely have to have that because it's like a fucking light switch, man.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't just shut that motherfucker off. Okay, lights are off. It's like, oh. I want to burn. I'm not done yet.
Yeah, man. Like, when shortly after I got out, they created this thing called the Wounded Warrior Battalion, which is fucking great. It's for Marines who can no longer, they still have a little bit of time left in the military, but they can no longer fully serve, whether it's because of mental issues, psychological, emotional, physical, loss of limbs.
Deployable.
Right. They're just not deployable and they can't function within the normal apparatus of what is a military unit. So they created this battalion for them, and okay, you got 4 months left. We'll put you within this battalion, or 6-7 months. You serve out the rest of your time. You go there. You go to therapy, physical therapy, and they help you out on the transition out of the military. I think that's ingenious, man. But I think it's so imperative when you have a combat situation going on with a specific bunch of individuals, specifically if that unit has accumulated losses within that unit. I think it would be a huge advantage for the military members or the military itself to instill a solidarity unit to where, hey man, we realize that this guy is going to exit the military within the next 2 months, but let's create a clause where he can sign for an additional 5 to 6 months and retain and stay within this unit, go and conduct your military duties as a whole, and as a rehabilitation period. I think that would have been great, because that's what I really longed for, man. I think the real pain started to seep in when I came back, and 90 to 95% of the people that I was there with were no longer there. And then it happened to me again when I went in August of 2003 for my second deployment. That shit happened again. Like, I came back another time, motherfuckers are just fucking gone. And then that's when I was real fucking crippled. That's when I was like, you know what, man? I really don't want to get close to anyone anymore.
No, you can't.
Right.
I don't think people understand how much that just burns, and you're deep down, man. I don't know. I'm not much for emotions, but that fucking hurts.
Yeah. And when you said that it killed you to like you felt like you were abandoning us, we had another guy, man, who was a sergeant. His name was Sergeant Rodriguez. When we extended to stay our first deployment, we met him. He was one of the sergeants from the second unit that we met, and he was getting out. Type of, same situation like you. So he ended up leaving 2 months before we left. So he had to go. He had to go and check out. He had to go back to Pendleton. And I remember he would call us on this, we'd get calls on the satellite phone. And a lot of times we weren't able to fucking answer the phone. The gunny would be like, hey, man, they're out and they're sergeant of the guard right now. They're on a foot patrol. They're on convoy with security. They're not here. And he fucking picked us up at the tarmac, bro. As a matter of fact, myself, Romirdred, and Melina, we stayed at the very first night. We stayed at his apartment. He was like, you guys are staying with me. And that night we got drunk. He got real emotional, and he said that he was so happy that we had finally came back safe, because he felt like he had abandoned us, and it was like, it wasn't your fault, but if I would have
heard that you would have died, it's just, if I would have found that out after the fact, I don't know, man. You don't realize how happy as fucking shit I was that I seen that you were still alive, and Thompson and a couple of other guys. It's like, God damn. I said, all right, good. They made it. Okay, they're back home now. It's like, fuck. I don't know. It felt like I had to. I had to protect you.
Yeah.
I'm being like a little. You're a lot older than me. You're an old fucking trout. But like, young Guppy had to come in there and protect you for a little bit.
I feel you, Joe, and listen, man, I love you for it, man. I really do, man. And anything that I can do for you in any shape, way, form, or fashion, and that goes to you, and that goes to Brown, that goes to Brady, that goes to Parchment, that goes to Melina, Burgers, any motherfucker, a Revelo, any motherfucker that I've ever served with, and I've had the privilege to serve with, man. Anything that I can do for you guys, I don't care what time of the night it is. Believe you, just give me a motherfucking call and I'm there, man. I love you motherfuckers. And shit, man, I wouldn't, even with the fucking, and Ramos as well. I know I'm missing a lot of names, man, but even with the fucking scars, dog, I wouldn't have it any motherfucking way, man, because I had the privilege to meet some really great people that have changed my life for the better. Believe me, when I left New York, I was a fucking stupid thug, street mentality idiot, and the Marine Corps put me in contact with some people that really made me be a fucking real man, and I appreciate you guys all.
You ain't that bad, you.
Nah,
you don't. Hey, you don't scare me, motherfucker.
That's because you're cut from the same cloth, brother. That's why, man. But listen, Joe, is there anything that you wanna end the podcast with?
Oh, one quick story. I gotta touch on it because you didn't remember when I sent you those pictures last night, right? I could not believe you did not remember this. That one, you're washing your hands off in that waterfall, right?
Dude, I saw the photograph and I was like, what the fuck was I doing in that picture?
All right, so we were going, we were in Korea. Going back now. We're in Korea, South Korea. We took a taxi ride. You're telling the guy, hey, we got to take us, where's the happening places, however the fuck you said it, and whatever the hell you were talking to the guy.
Right.
It's like, okay, I take you to Itaewon. And he's like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? He it translates to Hooker Hill. Remember that fucking? It was just big hill. All right. So if you remember, I was in the front seat, and it was you and somebody else was in the back seat. I fucking farted, right? It just fucking stunk this cab up. And this motherfucker, oh, you shit! He pulls over. He's about to kick us out of this cab. Remember that?
No, man,
And-
absolutely not.
Somebody opened up their wallet. We're just giving them some fucking extra wine. No, keep going. What take is this? Roll the windows down. We're good. So he takes us to Hooker Hill, and there's just gorgeous women everywhere. So we picked the first bar. We're walking there. Bar's empty. We're walking around. We go to this balcony, this gorgeous outside balcony. Overlooking the town there, and there's this fucking waterfall on the balcony. Then all of a sudden, these girls come in. Oh, okay, you want a drink? Yeah. Get some beers out here. And it's like, yeah, that's a gorgeous waterfall. She's like, yeah, that's pussy juice. And then you put your hands in there, you start washing your hands, you're splashing on your face like aftershave. You you're taking a lick on it. It's like, oh, okay, I got some of this.
That sounds like me, man.
Yeah. I was fucking dying. That's why I took that picture. You had this smile on your face, and you just splashed it on your neck. It's like, yeah. This is me. I like this stuff.
What a fucking pervert, man. What the fuck? Oh, shit. That's crazy, man. Well, Joe, listen, man, it's been a total pleasure speaking to you. It's been therapeutic, absolutely. I think you and I, and if we can get maybe 3 or 4 other guys on the phone, man, would be great. But more than that, I think getting a little get together with a group of us would be extremely welcomed, man. What do you think?
I think we might end up in jail, but I think that'd be great.
Hey, then so be it, man. Life is short, and you gotta let the cards fall where they may.
Hey, they ain't gonna hurt us. We'll be all right.
Well, listen, like I said, man, if there's anything that I can do or just to have a chat with, man, just talk and reminisce and laugh, I need you to give me a fucking call, Joe.
Dude, likewise, brother, man. If you're hurting,
Yeah.
well, yeah, you call me. Text me. I got no problem. I'll fucking drop what I'm doing. We'll start talking.
I appreciate you, Joe. I truly do. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been chapter 45 with, listen, like I said, a military Marine Corps compadre of mine, Joe Farrell. Joe, thank you so much for your time, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy.
DJ Architect out.
DJ Architect.